What's up, Kryptonites? Welcome back to Kryptonite, because I believe that cryptocurrency and the blockchain are the kryptonite of our modern financial system, and I love it. Guys, I'm going to tell you the story of how I actually almost died today. Yes, it's true. I actually almost died today. I'll tell that story later on in the video. But, guys, also on the trading front, I am currently in 2 live trades, and I did win a trade overnight that I will tell you guys about. I won it, but I also lost it at the same time. I'll explain that as well. Yeah, I'll explain that. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna explain it right now. Should I wait? Should I make you guys wait for it? I think I should make you guys wait a little bit. Okay, so let's just go into the Bitcoin charts here. Let's start with the longer time frames. I'm gonna get you guys on a little bit of a cleaner chart here. I know my charts have been a little bit dirty, so I'm gonna get a nice clean one for you, a nice fresh one. So we are here on the weekly candles. As usual, we are still fighting on that line, that previous all-time high from way back when. Look, hey, I have a chart that actually shows it this time. Haha. So this is our previous all-time high back in January, or was it December of 2017? So long ago, guys, ages ago. And we are fighting. We also made a little mini kind of high here before continuing on our massive uptrend. We are fighting with this line, guys. We are just hanging around here. I do expect it to hang around here for quite a while. These bear markets have a way of lulling everyone to sleep, and that's kind of the point. It rewards the people that are patient, who understand the bigger picture, and who will just continue to accumulate and invest and not, give into the psychology of the fear, which, of course, a lot of people who up at 60K were like, no, I'll buy Bitcoin when it drops again. And now it dropped, and they're like, no, I'm not going to buy it because CNBC said it was a scam, or so-and-so saying it's a Ponzi. And again, there's all these fear narratives around the bottoms because, the big players want to keep driving the price down so they can get cheaper prices. And retail usually can't hang on very long because, we tend to be more paper-handed. But I've been accumulating all the way down. I started buying at 30,000. I started buying at 28, 27, 26, 25. Not everything, just putting little bits in every single time. As we came down, I just bought some more at around 19,600. I think I bought some a little lower than 19 previously. So pretty happy with those buying prices. But as far as trading goes, guys, let's jump down to the daily time frame. We did, like I've been saying in my last video, we do have the potential on the weekly here for a tweezer bottom, depending on how, as you can see, we've already kind of lost a little bit from our candle here. But that also could be a good sign. We see the inverted hammer can be a bottom candlestick pattern symbol, right? If we see that inverted hammer finish, that can be a bottom, and as long as we get continuation, we should be okay. And if that signal remains where we have that bottom where it's literally the same, that tweezer bottom, again, very bullish. So I do expect a bounce here from Bitcoin at some point here, but of course we have 3 days left to wait for this candle close before we can say anything. Right now we're just waiting, and we're watching, and we're just seeing how this candle finishes, and then we can make more assessments from there. So we're not jumping in anything as investors. We're waiting, we're watching, we're letting the charts tell us what to do and where to buy. All right, on the daily, again, like I said, nice bullish candle formation. Again, fighting with that line. Nothing new has really happened on that front. Real quick, guys, just a little overview. So again, we had this nice uptrend here, broke down. The technical price target for it is actually all the way at the bottom, and so as you can see, we came down, we had this nice bear flag. Hopefully you saw that, traded down off that, and then now we are consolidating into a little bit of a pennant, which you could still call a bearish pennant, because again, it's coming after a nice downswing here, and then we're forming a pennant. That tends to be very bearish, and we still have not hit our technical price target from this bigger bear flag, right? Or even some people call it a falling wedge. We've had sort of a nice falling wedge as well, or rising wedge, I should say. So we could still see lower price targets, and I've been saying for a while I do think we will see lower than our previous low as a little scam wick down. So I'm prepared to probably set some buy orders down there to try to accumulate some more at those prices. But right now we're watching this nice little bull pennant play out, and we're waiting to see when we get a breakout from it. As you can see, nice little symmetrical triangle forming. Now, let's jump on. As you guys know, I love trading the lower time frames. Well, not super lower. 15-minute hourly is my favorite. So this is a good time to trade off. Again, we're bearish when we hit the tops here, and then we're bullish when we hit the bottom. So I know it's tough, the psychology, right? You see this big dump, right? And you start freaking out. You're like, oh, it's going to go lower. You're going to go lower, right? And this is where the people with the good psychology start to buy, because we're at a strong support, even though it's falling and the psychology says sell, get out, panic, right? But look at the strong hands bought in, and they rode this nice upswing. I even got in on a trade right around here, kind of middle of the range, and rode it up. Now I have some patterns on the shorter terms I want to show you guys. I'm sorry if it's a little messy, but I'll try to do my best to show it to you guys. So first off, we had this nice broadening ascending wedge is what we call it. It's where we have a nice upswing, but you see it's getting bigger and wider every time. So I saw this, and I actually got into a short position overnight. As you can see, I got into my trade right here at this blue line. Again, we were oversold on the RSI. We were pretty high up on the RSI on the hourly. We also had a very similar thing on the stochastic here. We were kind of right in the middle here, and then on the hourly, again, we were overbought on the hourly. So I was looking at all these indicators, seeing if it was time to get in, the price action. You can see all those indecisive wicks there, guys. You see all those doji candles. That is showing indecision. And we knew from our previous TA here that we are in this falling wedge pattern, right? Very obvious falling wedge pattern. So as we came up, we're making a bearish pattern, right? Because we typically break down out of a broadening ascending wedge, right? Just the same way as we fell out of this rising wedge that I missed. I told you guys I actually missed a trade on this. I bought the top here because I hadn't drawn these to notice that we were actually in a bearish pattern. So I missed a trade there, but on this one, again, I saw this rising wedge pattern, and I knew that was bearish. I saw that we were hitting the strong resistance here, this very long-term strong resistance line. We also had a nice horizontal resistance as well. And again, we started to see, according to the price action, we started to see those indecisive doji candles over and over. Again, that usually signals a trend change right there. So I believe we also had a couple other indicators, the DXY, which I look at often. Whenever I see the DXY at a strong support, and you see Bitcoin at a strong resistance, more than likely it's going to get rejected, because the DXY is going to pump, which means the price of the dollar is going to go up, and that means Bitcoin, which is inverse of the dollar, is going to go down. So the DXY has been absolutely huge in helping me with my trading. And so as you can see, I took my short position right here, and as I slept, we won the trade. Now, at the beginning I had mentioned I won it, but I also lost it, so I want to explain that. So as you guys know, and I've been talking about this on my channel often, we all have weaknesses as traders. One of my weaknesses is inability to hold trades sometimes, to where if I'm watching the chart and I'm seeing, the ups and the downs, I tend to, like a lot of traders, the feelings start to come up. You start going, well, maybe it is looking bullish. I'm going to lose money. And the psychology starts to get to you. It starts to wear on you. It's almost as if people are doing this on purpose to try to see who is the most patient, who can hold on. So actually, right before I went to bed, because I knew I couldn't monitor the trade, I actually lowered my stop loss a little bit because I didn't want to lose as much. And I was feeling pretty strong at that time. We were kind of down here in this range. I thought, okay, we're good. I'll lower it a little bit. I set some limit orders down. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll wake up. I'll probably win the trade. Awesome, right? Woke up, and as you can see, guys, we popped up, and we just stopped me out right there. Just stopped me out. And then, of course, we immediately went down and finished. And I would have won the trade had I just had proper psychology, and I had just said, screw it. If I lose the money, I lose the money. Whatever. No big deal. And so again, this has been a problem for me. This is something that I journal about consistently. As you guys know, I journal every night, and I journal all my trades as well as how I'm doing in my personal life. And one of the things that keeps coming up is this psychological issue that I have, where I just have a hard time holding trades. So it's something that I'm working on, and it's something that bit me again. I can't even tell you guys the number of trades I've lost because I moved my stop loss a little bit because I was a little scared, and then I got stopped out, and I would have won the trade. My TA was on point, everything was on point, but my psychology was not on point. So I'm honest with you guys on this channel. I'm not gonna lie and pretend like I win all these trades. My technical analysis was perfect. I hit everything on the point, just had some bad psychology. So now on this next trade, so I'm actually in, so I'm going to show you the 2 live trades I made. I'm actually going to pull this guy up here, move this recording over a bit, see if I can find this short position. Here we go. So I'm in another short position right here. I woke up to obviously losing this trade, and I was pissed because I was like, what? Again, if I had just done nothing, if I just left my stop loss where it was, I would have easily hit the trade perfect. So I was pretty pissed at myself, but I tried to shake it off, and I saw that we, had broken out of our broadening wedge, and then we'd come up and retested it with a nice hammer candle rejection. And so I thought, okay, the technical price target of the rising broadening wedge is actually down at the bottom here, or at least even here is one target. So I thought, okay, I still feel good about us, continuing downward. The DXY was at a strong support, so I went ahead and got in a trade again. And as you can see, we have been just up and down, up and down, up and down. Again, trying to torture me out of this trade, but I am learning from my mistakes, and I have held this trade. I will hold this trade. If I lose this trade, I lose this trade. No big deal. Not worried about it. Is what it is, and that is just how I'm improving my psychology. So yeah, I also noticed too that we didn't have as much volume. Usually on these upswings, I'm looking for increasing volume. That's how you know the trend's going to continue. But there was a lack of volume here on this upswing. So I've, again, just held the trade. Now I did enter a position on the US 30. So guys, I don't just trade crypto. I actually trade Forex a little bit as well. And I'm going to show you guys this trade here. Let's see if I can pull my screen over. Okay. So right now I'm currently in on this trade. You can see MetaTrader here on US 30. I took a short position right here. I'm currently about almost 200 in profit right there. So that trade is looking well. I'll show you guys that one real quick. I know it's not crypto, but I love Bitcoin and I love crypto. One of the problems I've always noticed as a trader though is every other cryptocurrency pretty much just follows Bitcoin. It just does almost the exact same thing. And I like to be in and out of trades a lot. I've tried to curb that a little bit. I've definitely worked on the amount of trades I take is a lot less than I used to. But it gets a little boring sometimes when Bitcoin's consolidating and all the other coins are literally doing the exact same thing. I get bored and I overtrade Bitcoin and I'll make bad trades. And so what I realized is like, okay, I need to trade some other things so that way there's always something going on, so I don't get bored and start making bad trades just out of boredom on Bitcoin when it's not, there's no setup, right? So I trade the Nasdaq and the US 30 a little bit. So here's the US 30 here. Nice trade. I have some signals here. We got a nice smiley signal showing a short position here on the 15-minute. So I get these signals and I don't take them right away. I do a little technical analysis and I try to see if this is a valid signal. And we had been fighting with this resistance line and we had, in my opinion, broken below it and had nice follow through beyond these previous lows here. So I thought we had clearly broken this level of support that was supporting us. We broke it. So I went ahead and entered this trade, going with, again, the smiley, plus, again, just looking at price action, seeing that we had broken a nice support level, seeing that we're in this downtrend, also in a falling wedge pattern, as you can see. And I knew that we had just got rejected off the top of this falling wedge pattern right here. You can see it kind of in red. I'll make it a little brighter for you guys here. Okay. And so we had kind of broken below that. And so I think I redrew it too. I had it a little bit less sharp in the past. It was more, when I originally did it, it was more angled a little bit, but it's tough to get all those touch points. Anyway, we'd rejected below that, so I felt good about getting into this position. And as you can see, I'm up quite a bit. I have not moved my stop loss yet. I'm still waiting. Again, what I'm waiting for is it to hit this trend line and see if it continues the trend. If it continues the trend, I will continue to hold my trade. If we break the trend, come up and retest the trend, I will probably consider taking some profit off the table, maybe about half, and then moving my stop loss a little bit lower so as to make it basically a risk-free trade at that point, and then wait for to see if it finishes my target here. But I haven't made any moves yet. I'm holding strong here, waiting to see what happens. Again, I like to use the Heiken Ashi candles when I'm in a trade. It helps me stay in trades a little bit longer because the Heiken Ashis do a good job of kind of showing you the trend And they're a little different from regular candles, which can kind of freak you out because they kind of go up and down, whereas the Heikens will stay very consistent if the trend is consistent. So from a mental standpoint, it helps me avoid, trying to back out of trades too early. So, and again, another thing I noticed here was on the 4-hour stochastic, we were actually kind of right in the middle range, and we had a strong, you can see the strong angle on the stochastic as well. So that was another confluence for me, on top of the smiley, on top of the resistance, on top of the break below previous support and breaking a strong support line that I had drawn. So price action, some indicator support. Again, any risk asset right now is going the opposite of the DXY. So I saw that the DXY was at a strong support level. So that gave me another extra confluence for this trade. So I'm obviously doing pretty well on it. Hopefully we hit my target here. I'll make a nice sum of money on that bad boy. But let's go back to Bitcoin, because we're here for the crypto, baby. And I do love to trade Bitcoin more than I like to trade Forex, but I'm starting to get into Forex a little bit. Well, I guess not. I don't know if the USD30 is considered Forex. I don't see that. That's how much I don't know about it, honestly, guys. I'm a chart guy. I know the fundamentals of crypto a lot more than I know the fundamentals of other markets. So it's something I'll have to learn to be more in touch with that, in the same way that I'm in touch with what goes on with Bitcoin, the fundamentals of Bitcoin. So as you can see, I'm waiting. I'm holding this trade. We're again holding this resistance line here. As you can see, we are consolidating into this wedge. So if you're more of a swing trader, you're probably just waiting for this wedge pattern to where'd it go? Come on. I had it here on the nice chart. I have a nice chart over here. Right. So you're just waiting. If you're a swing trader, you could, if you wanted to, you could obviously trade the tops and bottoms of these. Typically, one of my favorite ways to trade is to wait for the top of a resistance here, and then just see the reaction, right? If I get a nice candle, bearish candle, if I look at the indicators and I'm overbought on the RSI, I'm overbought on the stochastic, the volume supports it. I'm looking at indicators like that. I'm looking at the DXY. Is the DXY at a strong support? Is it in a strong trend? What's it doing? And if those confluences match up, I will take trades off of these support and resistance lines here. Those are actually my favorite type of trades to do. My most successful trades are off of patterns, because I feel like patterns give you, you could look at a chart with maybe the overlay, right? Maybe some moving averages, right? But I mean, look at this. You can see like broke up and then up, down, and it's like moving averages. I feel like don't, at least for me, they don't give me much in terms of where price is really going to go. I mean, you can scalp moving averages. Sometimes I do moving average scalp trades where if you break through one, it tends to like retest it and then want to break to the next one. So you can kind of scalp in between. So I will do those kind of trades sometimes. But all in all, guys, to me, moving averages are a nice, extra thing if I want to look and see if, where we're at with that, if we're getting resisted somewhere. But for the most part, guys, patterns, price action, candles, that's what I'm looking at. That is my first inclination of getting in and out of trades. And then indicators are just, hey, I want to check and see if, right here, right? I was looking to see, oh, hey, look, indicator support, indicator support, indicator support, indicator support. Okay, cool. It just gives me more confidence in the trade. I actually felt with this trade too, it was one of those trades where I didn't even emote from an emotional standpoint. I was like, man, I'd be dumb not to take that trade. Like that was my thought process. It has become kind of second nature to me, to where it wasn't even about, oh my gosh, I have to get into this trade or anything like that. It was literally, I would feel so dumb not to take that trade, right? Because we hit a resistance, we've got indecisive candles, we've got 4 indicators all saying the same thing. Like, I'd be dumb not to take that trade, right? And so that's why I literally took it out of that mindset of, well, yeah, of course I'm going to take that. It's dumb not to, right? So that's the type of mentality you want to develop from a psychological standpoint. It's just like, I'm not getting into this trade because I'm scared of missing out or I'm euphoric. It's just, wow, yeah, that setup's too good. Like, I'd be dumb not to take that. Okay, I'll take it, right? So that is really the trader psychology that I've been really working on over the course of this last year. So guys, it's just a waiting period for Bitcoin right now. You're waiting, and you're waiting for it to consolidate inside that wedge, and you are either trading the wedge in and out, or you're waiting for it to break from the wedge to see what's going to do next. Let's check out the DXY. Actually, I have a separate chart for the DXY. So I really love the DXY on the Heiken, because the same thing, it kind of gives you a little bit better perspective. So right down here, I look to sell, or I look to short Bitcoin, right? Because we came down, and it's like, oh, we have this nice support line on the DXY. We've been respecting it well. We get a nice candle formation off of it, usually some sort of supportive candle. Look at that, nice hammer candle. At a strong support, we know that the environment for the dollar, with all the fundamentals of the Fed raising rates to basically kill risk assets, right? So this is a confluence for me. When I see this and I see Bitcoin, I'm like, oh, I'm looking to short Bitcoin because the DXY, I'd be looking to long the DXY essentially. So I've been using kind of these up and downs of the DXY as just extra confluence on the Bitcoin trades. So it's been pretty, and you could use them for anything really, because any risk asset is basically going to go down when the dollar goes up, as people flee to the dollar. Anytime it goes down, people are going to flee to risk assets. So it just kind of flops back and forth. So as you can see, we're looking very bullish on the DXY. Nice little upswing here. We could be getting some resistance, which is why I'm a little worried about this trade here. I'm actually following through and getting, because if the DXY gets resistance there and it starts to head down, then of course, Bitcoin will probably, pump back up here, and we'll see if it breaks this. We're in a very strong falling wedge here. As you can see, this is a very strong one. It's been holding us up for quite a while. So it's going to take a lot of strength, a lot of volume to break that level. So guys, that is my analysis on Bitcoin. I guess we could check out Ethereum as well. I have not been honestly checking out Ethereum too often these days, if I'm being honest, because I just love trading Bitcoin. Because to me, Ethereum will look like it's going to make a move, and then Bitcoin does something different, and then it won't do it. It won't follow through, right? Looks like, for example, we have this head and shoulders here, right? This nice head and shoulders. Oops. And it's broke down underneath the line here that we usually get, and even retested, broke down. And so it's like, yeah, like any other, most of the time you would want to take a trade there on any asset that operates of its own volition. It'd be easy trade to take. But Bitcoin started moving up, and so Ethereum kind of negated this pattern here. So it's tough. To me, it's tough to trade Ethereum. It just doesn't like to do its own thing sometimes. But that's just my opinion. Other people would probably disagree. They probably like to trade Ethereum. And then here's the Nasdaq as well. As you can see, with the dollar doing so well, people are selling the risk assets. They're selling, and the Nasdaq has continued to fall. So that is your market Bitcoin update for you. Again, nothing new to really report in the Bitcoin news. Everything is kind of generally the same at this point. I mean, you hear new adoption stories every day, different countries getting into it. Visa, MasterCard, we know BlackRock is going to offer it to their people investing. So, but it's not really having much effect on the price right now, because we're too early in the cycle, guys. We honestly probably won't see a bottom till November. And then we've still got probably another year of just like sideways movement until we get closer to the halving. So you're gonna have to be real patient with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And this is a long man's game. This is a patient man's game. Anyone who holds Bitcoin for 4 years is always profitable. They have never not been profitable holding Bitcoin for 4 years. But obviously it takes some strong hands to hold for that long and hold when the market is like this, and to even accumulate too. It takes very that trust, I guess, in the market. So I'm looking to accumulate more as we go lower. Can't time the bottom, but gonna lower my buy-in price as much as possible. Guys, that's all I got for you. As always, make sure to save your money, grow your money, buy some Bitcoin, because we all know that fiat currency is the ultimate meme coin. It's going to zero at some point. We are now in a debt-based system. Our US dollar is based in debt. So let that sink in. Bitcoin is the way out. See you guys on the next one.